All right, and we're live. What a fucking day, guys. That's I'll start off by saying that it always gets crazy in my job every time before GameStop, before and after earnings. Like, it just always works out, or just life, or. But now that we have some time to calm down, I just still like the stock. That's facts, John Jar. That's facts. I am. There he is. Hello. What up? What up, man? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I gotta get this tweeted out. But I'm feeling freaking burnt out, dude. I gotta just really get myself more organized as an individual. I know I always say that, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge we're all going through out here in our own way and this and that. But the train day was rigged. Let's face it. Honestly, John Jar, yeah, it does seem quite suspicious. I'll say that. So, I mean, for me, I just definitely feel more zen than ever. And being busy during the day helps because like I'm not even caught up in the price action. I'm looking whenever I can, or people's like messaging me or whatever. So, whoop. But yeah, here we are. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you all. I'm really gonna try and come out with an earnings like recap video or have some main points I want to make. I was literally trying to record it right before this, just doing so many takes. So just feel like my brain is like scrambled eggs. Like I don't know how to describe it, but I think I'm just doing too much, and I don't know. I just have to cut out some like excess things in my life. Like I have to really just focus on my YouTube and just focus on everything I really want to do because there's just so much like to do. There's so much like on the go. Like if you guys see, I'm like always recording a new spot. Like I just have a pretty hectic lifestyle right now. It's kind of crazy, but I love everything I'm doing in YouTube. I love all you guys. So just know all that. So I'm here. Let's go. 60 million volume. Yes, we dropped 10% in open really after a massive beat. Something definitely doesn't add up there. There was incredible amount of volume today, especially relative to how much we've had. Minimalize. I like that idea, John Jar. I got to do that. And I think also I was trying to record before this, and I was frustrating myself, like trying to record a video, like trying so hard to like say it the perfect way, but like generally I feel like I had the point across, but I don't know. I just kept stopping. I don't know. I'm driving myself crazy right now. I think that's most of what's happening. So bounce back, just do a nice little live stream here, get some good information in. So there's a post on Reddit about it. All right, let's try and pull that up. Yeah, Superstock's been popping off all of a sudden. But yeah, let me be an inspiration to you that, whenever things get tough, just push forwards. Push forwards, I mean, I say I'm going to be here like Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Like, I got to be here. I got to find a way to be here. So I'm freaking gassed right now, guys. But here we are. I'm on tons of coffee today, but let's go. But always push forwards. Always push forwards. Never, ever give up, no matter what it is. And everything happening with GameStop right now, it's just remarkable because I don't even feel like the need, like old me, like I started investing when I was in high school, and obviously I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Seeing a day like today, I definitely would have been taking money off the table, and I can honestly say I didn't touch anything. I didn't buy anything. I didn't sell anything. And so many people are like, "Oh, you must be so happy." Like people that know, I'm like Kobe Bryant mode. Job's not finished. Job's not finished. I'm like, I'm just here to stay. I like the stock. I'm here to hold. What up, Joe? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Yeah, just getting the stream tweeted out. But if you've seen the title of this, oh god, stupid Adam Aaron tweet in my feed. Hate when I get those. But no one is selling at these prices. Let's be honest. It gives me more time to buy, so I'm not mad about it. Facts, John Jar. But right out of the open, where's our 10K? That's a great question, John Jar. And from what I understand, the 10K will have to be filed by the end of this month. I believe it's March 28th because that's when the last quarterly earnings was as of, or like Q1 officially ended January 28th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe January 29th. I think, yeah, technically 28, maybe 20. I don't know, one of those. But basically, it'd be 60 days from then. So that would theoretically be here, right? Approximately about sometime next week. But you'd have to wonder, considering they usually launch the 10K with the basically the report. I'm 10Q, 10K, the mixing it all up, freaking burnt out here. But basically, the report we're missing is usually launched with the report we already got. So you have to wonder, especially because this one has a DRS count. People are looking out for it specifically for that, but definitely people are looking at it more than beyond that just to see like what's with the delay. It's definitely raising some questions. But Ronnie, thank you for being here. Ryan, thank you for being here. Jack and Zen at the same time. I couldn't agree more, Ryan. That's kind of what I was going to say a second ago, but I went a little tangent there. But I don't even feel. I feel like job's not finished. Like it is. And Wendy, what up? Thank you for being here. Uh, in the sense, I genuinely just feel like so in touch with the company, and like I'm even reading through all the numbers. Right, I printed out everything. I try and really just do the whole like print paper. I don't know. It helps me focus personally, and everything's a screen these days. So just looking at these numbers, I really feel like I can explain almost everything on here. From when I first invested in the company, I simply was just not that knowledgeable. I mean, obviously, I'm just learning as I go, and that's really what this channel is all about. But when you become educated on something you're invested in, it's so much easier to just hang on because you see, okay, these are numbers. They tell us the story of what the company's been doing in their turnaround. And they even have bullet point here that I really liked, or I'll go through all the bullet points on their cover letter, or what GameStop reports fourth quarter and fiscal 2022 results. So the few main points here in terms of profitability, like for the full year overview, I'll just go through all those. Net sales were 5.927 billion for the year compared to 6.011 billion for 2021, so down ever so slightly. However, increased the full year sales in the collectibles category, which is an area in which the company continues prioritizing long-term growth. Reason being, generally speaking, collectibles have higher margins. Also, Web3 will have higher margin when the time comes, so I think that'll be really exciting to see. But beyond that, company completed the majority of implementations and upgrades related to the company's infrastructures, systems, shipping capabilities, and online and mobile platforms. Initiated cost-cutting initiatives and headcount reductions over the course of the year to increase operational efficiency. Established an equity incentive program for to store leaders and tendered associates to increase their compensation and strengthen alignment of interest with fellow stockholders. Just like people running the company at the very top are getting compensated in shares, now some of those upper levels are also being compensated as well. So just generally, it's creating good culture where people who are running the company are shareholders themselves, so they really care and have passion for how it's run, or at least that's my viewpoint on it. And they set a go-forward strategic direction focused on efficiency, profitability, and pragmatic growth. And I really feel like that pragmatic growth comes from Web3 because what we see now is the company can operate as is efficiently and have strong free cash flow, positive net income, and overall just positive EPS even. So they can operate as is and turn a profit, even if revenue just stays stagnant. A great example of this, I've said on the other stream recently, I've said it on many times, Dillard stock, DDS, definitely check it out. So reason being is they're delivering value to shareholders through dividends, buying back shares. A lot of people are named Dillard because it's a family of Dillards that runs the company, so they all registered their shares essentially. So point is, they're delivering shareholder value without the company even growing. I believe GameStop can grow on top of everything through Web3, and that's a larger margin market in general, just because everything's digital, so there's less overhead. So I really, really think that can drive their margins and just profitability, revenue, everything as a whole down the line for GameStop. But that's, over the next few years. Just seeing the way they're operating now, what the numbers showed us was really, really exciting to me because the company has had the mentality of we're not going to do Outlook. Don't believe me, just watch. And I'm watching, and I'm like, damn, they're doing what they say. They're doing what they say. And I just think that's really, really exciting. Do you think they're planning to throw at us after the Fed meeting today? Plan for earnings call on Tuesday before Fed. Meanwhile, X partnership a day before that. Maybe John Jar. I don't know. I feel like everything they do is for a reason. So there will be a reason, but I don't think we'll know until like a week or two after, or whenever it happens. But what's up, MOS Gang? Danza, thank you for being here. Love your confident information. These shorts can't last much longer. Ronnie, appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Yeah, honestly, I mean, people keep betting against GameStop. I say, so be it. I'll just keep liking the stock and focusing on what the company's doing. They have to know we would be pulled down today, and they can blame the Fed hike. Dave Lauer said, brick by brick. I've heard that before. I've heard that too. It's like that. Oh, I heard this. Like, talk about that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I went through all the mainstream media review videos on the earnings. The narrative is really they didn't increase revenue enough, but they failed to mention we have a lot less stores. Yeah, that's a great point, John Jar. I didn't even say that, actually. I'm glad you said that. And just beyond that, I think people don't even realize they didn't even have good like retail technologies. The registers were probably like old school computers before Ryan Cohen and Matt Furlong came in there and really revamped everything. Just keeping better track of inventory, just all the small things that you would think, well, it's not going to make them a ton of money. All these small things add up over time. And it really seems like before Ryan Cohen came in, overhauled the board, and just restructured everything, the company simply wasn't putting any of those things in place because they just simply didn't care because the people running the company weren't compensated in shares. As long as they were getting their paycheck, they didn't care what was happening to the company. It's getting hard to watch both Lightning and Tetron at the same time schedules. You need to collab to make it easier for us. Not a bad idea, Danzo. Dude, if Lightning wants to, it might be a move. We'll have to try that one time. Loop Ring, yeah, I'll definitely have to keep an eye on that as well. Did you see Meet Kevin's video on GME? I didn't, and I wanted to. I also wanted to catch Marantz's stream, but I was saying before, Ryan Sung, my job's been so fucking busy this week. So I'm feeling mad burnt out, honestly, because I'm just tired. And I've been trying to keep up with everything. Like, I couldn't even sleep yesterday because I'm just, like, so much hype about everything happening, honestly. And just lots of coffee. So I feel like that's not helping with sleeping, right? But oh, so much happening so fast right now. But at the same time, I'm just chilling. Like, I'm not doing anything dramatic with my shares. I know what I have with the company and my investment. I'm just happy that I was buying shares at a lower price than it is now. And I'm just going to hold because that's me personally. So I'm not getting caught up in the noise. I'm getting caught up in the noise of life more so. Um, and wouldn't the store managers get vested in their shares to get for the stock options around this time, a year or so after announced? I'm not too sure of that, John Jar, off the top of my head, but that sounds about right because it's not instantaneously. I believe it tends to be generally, if it's like a vesting schedule, it'll be okay, after 1 year, X amount of dollars will vest. After 2 years, this amount will vest. It's usually some kind of schedule, from what I understand. Let me see if I can actually find that. And then this is what I was talking about, the net income. This is so massive because selling and general administrative costs are going down. Costs of goods sold went down. So just overall, they're operating more efficiently. I just think that's really, really exciting. They're putting cash in marketable securities to just increase cash flow over time. So all these little things continue to add up. And this is just about them operating efficiently and the transformation. But really, the growth, in my eyes, is Web3 and everything they're trying to do there. And whatever Gmerica truly comes out to be, I really feel like that's the path for growth. But just seeing the way they are now, they don't even have to grow for 2 more years. They can operate efficiently and evidently turn a profit. I mean, of course, the next couple quarters, anything could happen. It could be slightly negative, things could kind of fall off, but these cost-cutting efforts are not just for like a one-time, like, oh, surprise, we turned a profit. These are long-term cost-cutting efforts that they're putting in and just operational efficiencies to make the business run better in the long term. And think about it. If you're using data, for example, now you're using retail technology to keep track of what items sell where. For example, they use technology called SAP, if you guys want to look that up. Technology. I'm like so mixed of loaded on caffeine right now and just tired. Like I feel like I'm very aware, but like everything, like my brain is moving faster than my mouth today, all day long at work too, even on the phone. Like I don't know if it's just the excitement about GameStop or what it is, or I'm just doing so much right now. Like I'm trying to read everything, tweet everything I can all at once, but it's crazy. So here, SAP Technology. This is their retail technology, and the reason I want to show this is it gives the company access to data, right? So this is just a very simple thing. So I remember I made a video on this a while back, and an individual I know who I low-key thinks that I'm a grifter for doing my YouTube channel, but I think he's starting to see now, like, damn, this guy's for real. But whatever. That's not even the point. But I remember somebody commenting, this individual commented, like, oh, companies have had SAP um, technology forever. What makes it special for GameStop? It's like, yeah, but GameStop didn't have like anything because they were just so behind. So having this retail technology that gives you numbers and information over time. And now that the company's been operating with this for a couple of years now, they're getting data. They can see, oh, well, this sells better in this region. Oh, we should sell more of this in the stores. It sells faster. We should primarily sell this item through e-commerce because people are generally just buying it online. All those sorts of small things allow them to operate more efficiently over time. And the more people buy from GameStop, the more they operate as a business, the more data comes into their system, the better decisions they can make. And that's not going to make them just turn extra hundreds of millions of dollars overnight or something like that. It's just going to keep improving things and allow them to operate efficiently. And I think we're really starting to see that come into play, but I expect it to continue. So next quarter could be not that good. Quarter after that, whatever. But really, I'm looking at 2023 as a whole being better than 2022 as a whole, because I really feel like, we just started to really see the exciting stuff in the back half of 2022. And I feel like the back half of 2023 for GameStop will be really where the growth begins, because it seems like things are just kind of lining up very nicely, where the next cycle of digital assets, crypto, NFTs, everything is kind of all building again. And then beyond that, GameStop is not just creating NFTs. They're focused on digital collectibles. And It really comes down to not monkey pictures and random images, and like the art's cool and all that, and I definitely think artists should make money in their own way. However, it comes down to utility. Without utility, nobody cares about NFTs. So the underlying utility, which is that you can own your own assets in your game and jump game to game, I think that's truly groundbreaking and something that they're at the forefront of. And I feel like they'll really continue to push that, and they'll be using their brand name as well. That's something I kind of want to get into as well. I feel like the company can really leverage their brand name. I said this on the last stream. They could launch GameStop coffee. I'd try it. A lot of you would probably try it simply because it has the name GameStop on it. That's so powerful for a company to have, especially a company with 1.4 billion in cash and little to no debt at this moment in time. I just think that's super super exciting. Let's see. One of the store managers just watched Moran's video debunking the Meet Kevin video. Two birds, one stone. Sounds good, John Jar. Honestly. Kevin is such a clown. Yeah, Kevin did. He was Meet Kevin. What a bozo. Okay, I want to change his name first. First name Meet, then Kevin. I'm serious. He wants to run for governor of California. He's so crooked, he will probably get it. That'd be crazy. I thought that was a joke when I read that a while back. Meet Karen. Meet Karen gets on my sin. All the promos and plugs he does in a 3-minute video is comical. It's true. I saw GME beat Amazon by a huge margin for all 2022 just for one quarter. Yep, pretty funny, Dad. I saw that too. You can see excitement. I have the same bug. I'm glad I'm not alone, Jar Jar. I'm glad. Kevin needs the money for that FTX lawsuit. I was just going to say that. Me, Kevin, is one of the people in the FTX lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken. Take some power naps, bro. I should, Ryan Sung. I really should. Like, things I work 9 to 5, so it's kind of hard to do that really during the day. And then usually at night, I just want to like do stuff like stream or whatever. So I don't know. I just got to, really just get on a schedule and shit like that. So adulting. But take some power naps. I really should. Simple 45 nap will do wonders. Honestly, yeah, maybe even just after work, like if I lay down a little before doing like a stream and then start streaming like even like 7:30 because usually I'm like rushing to get started and everything too. I don't know. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, maybe I should start doing that. I get very wired. It's very hard for me to like shut down. So, but I have found like when I used to work a lot at Marshalls, but I would just need to like at least kind of rest at some points in the middle of the day. I would just even lay in my car and just like that did kind of help, come to think of it. So maybe I should try and do more of that. Left mess up, dude. FTX only one of his many grifts. I waiting for his DUI case to be lost. Damn, he has a DUI case. I didn't even realize that. He probably kissed the judge's butt down. I'm also hanging in the balance with the power struggle in banking. Maybe it comes with the territory of digital transformation. Kevin, GameStop has bills on the table, so technically GameStop don't have that much cash on hand. What does that even mean? That's literally crazy. And it's funny because why would Meet Kevin ever talk about GameStop? Because now it's the talk of the town. So he's got grifter's gonna grift, right? It's like it comes out of nowhere, like, oh, time to make a GameStop video. And like I love seeing all the accounts started popping up out of nowhere that haven't talked about GameStop in a while. Wall Street Bets suddenly is, oh yeah, GameStop's cool and all this and all that. I've been here. I've been here. All of you have been here too. So I just think that's pretty funny that that's happening. But something I do want to briefly touch on is GameStop's potential with their brand name. I know I kind of just quickly said that, but really I think it's so powerful because literally they could launch anything. They could buy out any company, put their name on it, launch more of their own hardware, and I really feel like that gives them the option to just do so many different things because okay, well, this doesn't work, we're going to have tons of people that will try it before we really push it to the masses. And I feel like Web3 and everything they're doing with the NFT marketplace, onboarding games, whatever Gmerica is inevitably going to be, all those different things, they know there's individuals like myself out there that are going to go ahead and try it and be really the first people to utilize the products and utilize anything GameStop does because people just have passion for the brand. So whatever works, they can use that information, that data, whatever you want to call it, and then push to the masses. Like, okay, well, this game is more popular than this one, or oh, people tend to like this more in collaborating Web3 and games. I mean, obviously, it's all about the games themselves at the end of the day. I think that's an important point with all this, and a common misconception of people who are not understanding like the potential of Web3 in gaming. And Danzo, I saw that video you sent me. I gotta watch it, man. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna watch it. I got you. I'll get back to you on that. But launching Web3 games it's not going to be like, oh yeah, it's about like earning money, earning money. It's still about the games themselves, and for individuals who play the games to be able to own the assets themselves and do what they want and truly own it. Because right now, when you buy skins in Fortnite, that's it. They're just on your account there, on your PlayStation account, or sorry, on your Epic Games account, whatever. I still play Fortnite on the PS4. I don't actually play it like regularly. Just if I'm once in a while gonna like kick on a game, that's what I'll do. So that's why I said PlayStation. But you simply can't just take your items game to game. Although I did see that Cyberclone was in Fortnite because they just launched some like custom thing or something. I don't know. Pretty interesting. But very wired, can't sleep. That sounds like Morantz too. Yeah, Morantz, dude. That's the thing too. I'd be looking at someone like Morantz, and I want to push myself because I just respect the guy so much for all the effort he puts in and all the hard work and research. And I just look at it like, damn, why can't that be me? Why, if he can do that much time, so can I. But I'm burnt out right now, so I got to figure out a better system, you know? And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stop, and I'm not trying to take away anything at all from Rants or something like that. But that guy can grind, and there's always going to be somebody who's working less than you and working more. So, it's obviously important to focus on yourself. But for me, I always want to just strive to be better and strive to do more. I just saw. Oh, let's see what Meat Karen said. On the earning call, they were bragging, said 3 times, about so much cash on hand, but they don't have that much. He's the biggest grifter. Yeah, they literally just opened the report, dude. Open the report. Why would he say that? What a bozo. That's just crazy talk. Look at the report. Look at the numbers. Free cash flow was positive, so there's more cash than the previous quarter. They added more money into marketable securities, so that's more future cash flows. They don't have any debt right now. Crazy. I just saw Sony just filed to be able to transfer NFTs from console to PC and back. Ooh, interesting. Fortnite just released Creative 2.0. Look at it. It's insane. Let's see. Fortnite Creative. I don't even know anything about it. 2.0. Thoughts on the Coinbase sell-off? Hey, Tetron. Hope you had a good day. James, appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I did, but it was a long day. But thank you. And thoughts on the Coinbase sell-off? I didn't even see that. See, literally so much happens so fast and busy days, so easy to miss stuff. But really, thank you all for being here. I appreciate all you so much, and just listen to my rambles and my knowledge, or whatever you want to call it, right? With these live streams, it's really been a lot of fun. I really look forward to these at the end of the day. Like, even after a long day today, I'm like, I know I'm gonna have the homies in the chat, so it'll be a good time. Damn, another 13%. Oh yeah, didn't they? SEC is suing them. It's very odd, right? What we're kind of seeing as a whole, several banks associated with crypto go down, right? And then beyond that, Coinbase being hit with lawsuits, and anything crypto related just seems to be so attacked as of late, which is just very interesting. And I just personally feel like, governments don't like it because can't control it, right? No central government controlling it, like cryptocurrency in general. So I just feel like that's where like the threat is in their eyes. But beyond that, we're also seeing, the use for the blockchain, and for gaming specifically, just to talk about that. For example, Fortnite 2.0, we're going to pull that up right here. This seems like, let's see, what you're racing. Whoa, this is actually crazy. That's what it is. But what I was going to say basically is, oh, what was I going to say? Oh no, I blanked out. Donko, what up? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Earnings were really exciting, being positive. Absolutely, James Gal. Absolutely. Because net income, this is the big highlight. Damn, this is crazy. Is that actually what it looks like? That's actually crazy. What about this one? Is this one going to play? But I'll hit you with some numbers real quick. Here, get this. Where did I have it? Yeah, so top line revenue. If you look at Q4 2022 versus Q4 2021, top line revenue actually declined year over year, ever so slightly, down 28 million. But if you look at net income, this year it was 48.2 million positive. The same quarter last year, negative 147.5 million. So that's a near $200 million swing on the bottom line. But the top line revenue didn't even grow. And part of that, is lower selling and general administrative costs, lower cost of sales, just evidence in my eyes of the cost cutting efforts. And it obviously took time. and it's continuing to happen. But growth in collectibles is a higher margin category, and as the company continues to move into Web3, I think that'll also be high margin. I'm also watching this as I'm saying this right now. This is crazy because this is really, I feel like, what it's all about, the customization, and people love. That's actually awesome, the pizza box and stuff like that. That's crazy. And if this is, talking too fast, but basically,
Thank you, ma'am.
whoa, what's going on there? But essentially, people want to own their own assets. That's just makes sense. It just makes sense in my eyes. And going game to game with things over time could be extremely exciting. And it really seems like the Web3 world coming into gaming is just taking place very quietly behind the scenes. We're seeing more and more companies file for things related to digital assets. So while on the surface it seems like crypto's bad, oh no, you don't want to be associated with them or this or that, underneath, like low key, you see all these different companies, especially gaming companies, getting involved in digital collectibles. So, pretty crazy. Sony get ready for Web3, and Square Enix has been ready. Yeah, search CoinDesk. Oh, okay, bet. CoinDesk. So let's see, NFT, Sony NFT. Let's see. Thoughts on the Coinbase sell-off? Oh, I'm going all around. Damn, but yo, what up, Fresh Maker? Thank you for being here. Damn, nothing wants to load. Come on now. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like potential security. It just seems like more, I don't know, more baloney. Coinbase as a whole. It just seems like there's always some drama there, like unnecessary drama being stirred up, and not by them, not by them, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know. It's just hard for me to trust any like individual like crypto exchange now after everything that's happened. I really just and believing in what everything GameStop does and owning your own assets. Like I want to own my own stuff in my Ethereum wallet. So it's crazy. CSGO 2 announced today too. Damn, that's actually crazy. I didn't even realize that. Sony files patent for NFTs to allow transfers between games and consoles. Entertainment and gaming console giant Sony Interactive Entertainment has filed a patent that would make non-fungible tokens NFT transferable between different games and consoles. The patent, originally filed last week, would allow players of Sony products such as flagship PlayStation to have an interloop Web3 gameplay experience. Gamers will be allowed to transfer in-game assets between devices such as virtual reality headsets, tablets, computers, and smartphones. The patent application also noted in some examples the NFT can be cross-generationally from PS4 to PS5. Pretty dope. The application also goes in detail around how NFTs work for achievements and tournaments, noting in some example embodiments the task may include a victory in an esports tournament, and the digital asset may be usable via the NFT by the first end user entity. Cross plural. Okay, I gotta read that again. Hold on. That's a tongue twister. In some example embodiments, the task may include a victory in an esports tournament, and the digital asset may be usable via the NFT by the first end user entity across plural different computer simulations. So I guess that means whatever you earn would be in the form of an NFT, and then you could ideally use it as like a character or something in game to game. Sony also specified in the patent that the framework aims to be interlopable between or interoperable interoperable between products outside the Sony ecosystem, such as Xbox or cloud-based video game. Interesting. Making assets fully transferable and usable between different gaming ecosystems. It also outlines a function to prevent gamers from repeating tasks to earn the same NFTs with different products or games, noting the ability to prevent performing of the task again in other instances of the computer simulations that are executed, or declining to provide additional NFTs for subsequent additional performances of the task. Sony's recently making moves to grow its presence in the Web3 space, forging partnerships and testing early blockchain-based products. In November, the company released motion tracking wearables, allowing gamers to control their avatars with their bodies in real time. That's pretty interesting, but a little bit creepy. In February, its internet provider division, Sony Network Communications, teams up with the blockchain network Astar to create incubation program for companies focused on building NFTs and decentralized autonomous organizations with real world utility. That's exciting to see. I didn't even really realize that happened, Loki. What's Astar? Let's check that out real quick. But that kind of validates my point. Thank you for pointing this out to me, John Jar. That the point is these companies are all low key doing it behind the scenes. It's all the shift has started. GameStop has been working on this now for a while. It seems like they're all really just starting to do this kind of in late 2022. GameStop's had the ball rolling since early 2022 with all this stuff, in my opinion, and really the vision for it in 2021, it seems like. So they just generally seem to be ahead of the curve. They got inventory. Their inventory went down, right, from this quarter versus the same quarter last year. But in my eyes, that was them trying to get it ahead of inflation and have a lot of product on hand because they saw costs going up. And remember Ryan Cohen's tweet, low interest rates are like easy sex. Sounds good, but potentially fatal. Look at the high interest rate environment. The company didn't go take on debt for growth. They wanted to grow, and that was their constant like commentary. Like, we're transforming. People thought, oh well, they got to take on debt to do that, right? No, they didn't do that because they saw the writing on the wall, in my opinion, that interest rates were bound to rise rapidly because of the way we were just constantly increasing the money supply with monetary policy. So now they're stacked with cash, and they can make acquisitions for valuations of companies that have fallen. They can just use it in general to build the strength of their brand name of GameStop, sell things with the brand GameStop. I really look for them to leverage that in different ways down the line, especially with Web3. Um, let's see, CSGO. Oh yeah, I gotta look that up too. CSGO 2. It's crazy. Think we run tomorrow, or just the market runs, or just how the market runs? Honestly, Jacksons, and thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I feel like it's an interesting time because part of me thinks it's going to go back to its same old like weird trading and slowly bleed down and whatnot. But then part of me thinks too, like, the fundamentals are there. There's fundamental differences now. But of course, there's still the doubt, like, oh, well, what if Q2, Q1 of the next year aren't that great? Or, it's not consistently held up. We need to see more of this over time. Fine, I'll just use it as an opportunity to accumulate more if the price goes down. So personally, I just feel like it could keep at least hold above 20 now, just because it's evident that the company's not going to take on debt. They have a strong balance sheet. Things keep moving in the direction they're talking about. Everything they've said so far they're going to do, they're doing. And there's still more that they've said that has to be done. But this is just great evidence to me that the mentality of, we're not going to do an outlook. Don't believe me. Just watch. Let the numbers and results speak for themselves. And Matt Furlong even said that on an earnings call as well, something along those lines. But we don't want to be judged on our expectations. We want to be judged on our results, something like that. So having that mentality and showing us like, okay, yeah, here's some of what we've been talking about. We did it. And they didn't actually say it, but it's in the numbers. That's really exciting. It makes me think everything else they talk about in the future will be there. And at some point, if you're betting against the stock in any way, shape, or form, wouldn't you see that in some way? So I don't know though. I truly don't know. At the end of the day, anything short term, but long term, I absolutely love the stock price and truly believe there'll be great appreciation. Tetron, I hope you had a good day. Or wrong spot. Reaction to the Fed's 25 basis rate hike. Yeah, honestly, I'm not really sure how I feel. I kind of kept going back and forth. I started to think maybe they're just going to kind of pause, but it really seemed like, in hindsight now, no matter what the Fed did, I was talking to a coworker about this a little bit today, that there's going to be doubt or uncertainty. So in the sense, they're expecting a rate hike of 0.25, but now because of everything that's happened with banks in the past month, it's like, oh, well, we need to cut rates. So that's kind of expected. But it's like, wait, if you cut rates or even pause raising rates, then that goes against everything you've been saying you're going to do, as in the Fed saying what they're going to do. Then the markets might have been spooked and like, oh, well, that's uncertainty. But then let's say the Fed doubled the rates, right? They raised it by 0.5 basis points. It would be like, oh my God, we didn't expect that either. Too much. But then even we got what the market generally expected, and the market was still like, nah, we're dropping off because look at the banks. So it kind of feels like whatever happened today, or whatever the results were of the meeting, whatever Jerome Powell's comments were, which I didn't even get a chance to look at yet, that it was going to just be negative, in my opinion, from the market. But at the end of the day, it's Fugazi, it's Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy. I was just going to focus on GameStop. But I think, the Fed probably will continue to raise rates because until they can't, because inflation's evidently still here. So the problem is, though, if you raise rates and it results in more banks failing and more bailouts, then the Fed's balance sheet just increases anyway, and the money supply increases anyway, and inflation's here anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with all that. But CS:GO is amazing. It continues to survive. There's some sort of cheaters that there need to be fixed though. Hopefully they fix that in CS:GO too. I remember playing what was the other one? Counter Strike Go, and then Counter Strike Ghost or something weird. I remember playing. When did Counter Strike the first one come out? I remember playing this like in middle school. Did it come out? That can't be right. 2008 to 18. Oh, 19 years ago. Damn. That's actually crazy. What year is it again? 2023? No way. 2004? Crazy. Oh, okay. Global Offensive has been out since 2012. I think Counter Strike in general, because they have multiple Counter Strike games. Like the other one I was talking about was 19 years. Damn. More revenue is the key for the future. I hope they'll find a way to do it. I think you're absolutely right, Freshmaker. Um, yes, because, or how do I want to put this? I think the growth comes from one, collectibles, because collectibles is a very broad category and people always want to collect things or just add more of things in the general collectible category. So that is in the sense that they can always add more. I guess what I'm trying to say is they can always continue to add products and things that people have interest in. So there's growth there, but that alone won't do it. I really feel like it's in Web3, and you might be like, oh, well, are they just going to sell digital assets? I think we'll figure it out over time as they continue to launch Gmerica and we just see more of what they're doing. But we already know they launched some NFTs themselves, right? Some digital collectibles themselves, like the Gmerica collection. We'll see if anything comes to that down the line, and we'll also just see in general where, like, what are they trying to specifically sell, and the NFT marketplace itself. Just the more transactions, the more they'll make. So the more they just integrate and partner and things like that, I feel like the Web3 growth will be there to the point we'll eventually get an earnings report where it's hardware, software, collectibles, digital, something like that, or Web3, something along those lines. And I think that'll be really exciting. But I think that's going to take years, honestly. And as long as the company continues to operate efficiently in those years that it takes to get there, to really drive that growth and enable that growth, achieve that growth, however you want to look at it, if they're just focused on running their core business that they have right now just efficiently, as we've seen with this quarterly earnings report, if they can continue to do that each and every quarter, I think it's very easy to focus on growth because you don't have to worry about debt or restructuring your business or anything like that anymore. You can just focus on the growth, the new drive forwards, the new aspect of the business, because the core business itself will be streamlined and just operating efficiently. And now everything's generally in place for what it needs to be. Of course, you always have to adapt and keep an eye on everything, but generally speaking, they can really, really focus on the growth side of things and maybe more partnerships and just more opportunities in Web3. And I really feel like the way the industry is evolving and how they've been kind of ahead of the curve, that they're going to continue to identify opportunities to make profit themselves or enable themselves to make future profits just with the whole Web3 space as a whole. And 420 Bonk Smoke, nice name. Thank you for being here. Laughing my ass off. You're legit explaining Peruvian Bulls DD right now. Shout out to Peruvian Bull. And yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly why I was saying that. The next thing I was going to say was no way out, because he always says that. And it's true. I really didn't understand the dollar milkshake at first. It took me a lot of like reading it and just like looking up the terms, and just, sometimes you really just have to look at things multiple times or something just clicks. You're like, oh. And for me, it was like a little while back. I don't know. And then just seeing it in action now with some of the things happening and the controversy around interest rates hikes, I'm like, oh, this is literally what Peruvian Bull has been talking about for a minute. Like, and if you look back at the old stuff, like, it's in there. It's in there. No way out. So definitely read up on the dollar milkshake theory if you guys haven't. It's quite remarkable, and it's quite alarming. And I like how in his due diligence he even references like real, like his history. Like, history's in his butchering that. History is involved in his due diligence, which I think is really interesting. It's like a really, really scaled out perspective. And it's like, oh, we think what could ever happen to the dollar, right? It's always been about the dollar. If you zoom out in the world and you look at all of human history, it hasn't always been about the dollar, right? Or there hasn't always been a US dollar. So Yellen came out and said they are not considering insuring all uninsured bank deposits. Thoughts? I thought that she said they were going to if it was systematic risk, but she seems like she'll just say whatever needs to be said these days, unfortunately. Um, it's kind of crazy that she's the freaking, what's it called, Secretary of Treasury, when she just seems so out of touch with everything and just says whatever needs to be said. It's very, very, I mean, so does every politician, right? But that's how it goes. 70th U.S. Secretary of Treasury and Professor. Okay. Treasury will do whatever it takes to ensure savings remain safe. Yeah, I don't know. She kind of just says whatever she needs to say, it seems like. Let's see. No, this isn't any. I thought it was going to be her latest comments. She's a Twitter. Crazy. Let's see what CNBC says. 4 hours ago. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is not considering any plans to guarantee all bank deposits following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. She told senators. Yellen testified before Senate Appropriations Committee, where she was expected to face questions about the stability of the U.S. banking sector in the wake of the Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank failures. The amount of money banks borrowed from the Fed's discount window set a new record in the week ending March 15th, suggesting that many banks are still worried they could face a rush of withdrawals. That's the picture they chose. It's crazy. Federal bank regulators are not considering any plans to insure all U.S. bank deposits, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told members of a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Wednesday. But didn't she just say, like previously, like, we'll raise the FDIC limit if we need to, or hey, if there's a systematically at-risk bank, we're going to do what we got to do. So she just seems like she says whatever needs to be said, and kind of ties back to the dollar milkshake theory a little bit. It's just like, hey, we'll do this. Oh yeah, we'll do that. I mean, not exactly, but it does in the sense that they're just saying whatever needs to be said because the problem can't really be fixed. It seems like it's just scary. Like several bank groups and consumer advocates have called for some kind of universal deposit guarantee after the government refunded most of its uninsured deposits at two banks that collapsed earlier this month: California-based Silicon Valley Bank and New York-based Signature Bank. I've not considered or discussed anything having to do with blanket insurance or guarantees of all deposits, Yellen told senators during a hearing on Capitol Hill, considering the Treasury Department's 2024 budget request. Comments helped fuel a decline in the stock market and drop regional bank shares. Makes sense. Deposit guarantees for SVP and signatures set off a fierce debate in Washington over whether big banks had taken excessive risk when getting a special bailout, you think? While smaller banks are being forced to confront a rush of withdrawals triggered by public fears about the banks without any special help. I'm very troubled, me and Republican Senator Susan Collins. It seems to me by guaranteeing all deposits at Silicon Valley Bank that you're creating a situation where they are immune from losses in a way that puts the well-managed community bank at a competitive disadvantage. So I guess my question to you is, how is this fair? Okay, let's see. Yellen said at that time, regulators weren't thinking about giving away one bank advantage to over any other bank. At the time, they were thinking about the implications for the broader banking system because of the contagion potential. So it kind of seems like too big to fail is a thing, right? At a certain size, they're just that comment tells me they're gonna bail them out. If it's a big name, they're gonna bail them out. It doesn't matter how much money it costs. Whew, crazy. If policymakers decide to provide unlimited deposit insurance to some institutions, they cannot leave others out. Certainly not the community banks that have, as always, operated on a safe and sound basis. Rebecca Rainey, CEO of the Independent Community Bankers of America, said. While Yellen ruled out universal blanket deposit guarantees, she appeared to be open to other potentials to help smaller banks offer additional deposits to larger deposits. I shouldn't be able to buy or pay a little higher bank fee to get protection with a cap of maybe at 10 million, mentioned Yellen at the end of her testimony. We've been talking, some senators have been talking back and forth. I don't think we should craft legislation without you all involved, showing us how to structure that. I think this is very worthwhile for you and your colleagues to be discussing what's appropriate here, and we would be more than willing to work with you to think this through. For the moment, we're trying to stabilize the situation using the tools at our disposal. Not many when you long abuse monetary policy. Aggregate deposit outflows from regional banks have been stabilized. We'll see. We'll see. Why are the DRS not numbers out yet? Is it because of a merger possibility? Amid, thank you for being here. And Ryan Sung says real quick, I'm going to answer his question, then I got you. We're going to swing back into GameStop. Do you think the bank contagion is planned, or did it catch everyone by surprise? Ryan, that's a good question. I would say, I mean, it's one of those things. Everybody kind of knew, right? There's the reserve ratio is 0%, interest rates were 0%. We're just pumping stimulus checks out, pumping money out there. Everyone's like, this is not going to be good for us in the long term. Like, this isn't good. Like, but everyone's kind of like, after a while, like, well, nothing bad has happened, right? So I guess it's not that bad. Like, that kind of became the mentality of everybody. So I feel like because everybody just got so used to it being the way things were, that people kind of just are surprised by it now because it's like, damn, how did this happen? When you look at back, though, it's like, oh, well, this has been kind of just rebuilding ever since 2008, which is just remarkable. I mean, in the worst way possible, that this is essentially happening all over again. And hearing things about like credit default swaps and equity swap and all these like different things that are and derivatives that are have massive like face values. It's just, how do we get back here? How do we get back here after 2008 and everything that happened then? And then why are the DRS numbers not yet? Is it because of a merger potentially? Potentially, Amid, definitely potentially. But the company does have 60 days from the end of Q4 to file that. So that'd be about March 28th, I was saying before. So they have a little bit over a week from now, or maybe March 29th, something like that. They have about 60 days from the end of the previous quarter. So that's when they have to officially file it. So it could be nothing, but potentially a reason people say that, a 10K would be delayed is that a merger is taking place or still being finalized, hence why it may not have come out yet. But of course, that's speculation, so we don't know anything for sure. But it's definitely certainly a possibility. I don't think it's, Bed Bath and GameStop merging or anything like that, all those theories out there. I think it could be, and shout out to Morantz for this one, maybe they're buying out Teddy because Teddy is part of whatever G America is going to be, and it's something that's been built behind the scenes by Ryan Cohen and some other people. But hey, that's just a one possibility. Another possibility, what if they buy out a hardware company, something random like that, just some company that sells monitors and just any kind of hardware, keyboards, mice, everything for a gaming setup, just because what if they just bought out a company like that? A small one we've maybe never even really heard of or not even that familiar with. As long as it's a good quality product, buy it out, use the infrastructure GameStop has, you leverage the strength of the brand name, rebrand it to be GameStop, and maybe that's another way they can drive growth. That's just one random acquisition, something. I don't know. Maybe they even acquire um, a gaming company themselves. That would be super dope. So they could really, create more and more games and just, it's power to the players, power to the creators. Maybe they themselves are going to be creators in different ways. We've seen it a little bit with some of the digital collectibles / NFTs they've come out with, but maybe there's a plan where GameStop will actually be creating games down the line. And part of that maybe is through an acquisition. I don't know. Just an idea there. But yeah, why the DRS number's not out yet? Yeah, it's because it would be on the 10K, Amid, to answer your question. So we only have the 8K right now. When the 10K comes out, you can just type in Control F, and then if you type in transfer agent like that, it'll take you right to the DRS count because it always says this amount of shares were held at our transfer agent as of the end of the quarter. But yeah, so also important, guys, when you're looking at these numbers, make sure you're looking. So this is for Q4 2023 or 2022 rather versus Q4 2021. So these 13 weeks ended. That means a quarter, right? Because there's 52 weeks in a year. 13 is 1/4 of that. Then 52 weeks is the full year. And I really like how GameStop broke it down with percentages. So you could see that cost of sales went slightly down in terms of percentages year over year, as well as selling and general administrative costs, actually a little bit flat. But this is for the full year, right? So looking at this here, that's full year. But if you look at quarterly, right? I guess I shouldn't have zoomed that in. Oh God, what am I doing? Okay. Trying to just make it the best. This is what we got to do. Boom. Okay. So you have the actual numbers here, and this is again for Q4 2022 versus Q4 2021. And cost of sales was 77.6% versus 83.2% in the same quarter of the previous year. So that's a 5% difference. So they cut cost of sales by about 5%. And that's, approximately because the net sales, like top line revenue, wasn't exactly the same. It was actually slightly down, but it's all based off these percentages. And then looking beyond that, selling and general administrative expenses only 20% this year versus 23.9%. I expect to see these kind of numbers consistent from each quarter to quarter. Well, what do I mean by that? I mean, I believe Q1 of 2023 being reported and compared to Q1 of 2022, we'll see the same kind of thing where cost of sales is a lower percentage of the top line as well as selling and general administrative costs. So I really feel like that's a pattern that's going to continue because, again, I don't think this quarter was like, oh, here's a surprise profit. Like it's because we just did one thing one time dramatically. No, it's because they've adapted the inside of the business. Everything has more technology, more data. They can make more data driven decisions. Simple ways. It's not like that itself is driving large margins, but closing down excess distribution centers, getting rid of extra employees. So of course, it's unfortunate to lay people off, but if they're not part of driving the company forwards and they do have to make operational decisions, and tons of other companies are cutting employees, right? And it's like, oh yeah, that's bullish, but when GameStop does it, bearish. So that's that. Do you think, or I expect some organic DRS numbers this time since their last quarter's rug pull barely had an effect on us? I think so, Ryan. Low key, I could see this kind of a bold one, but 100 million total DRS, that'd be a big, big number. But if you look at what GameStop stock price has been since we got the last DRS count, the last DRS count was reported when the last earnings came out, which now that it's March, that came out in around December. But keep in mind, that earnings report that was released in December was for Q3, so it was as of the end of October. So if you look at GameStop's stock price since October, pull up the 1 year chart, this is right here, right where I'm on the chart right now, is the end of Q3 for GameStop 2022. And then the end of Q4 was right here. So we'll get an idea of how many shares were DRS'd in this time frame. And look at this time frame. Look at that large decline. I know me personally, I definitely bought some shares and registered them during this time period right here. And that's the time period being reported for. And then even that number wouldn't include any shares directly registered in this time period here since the quarters began. So I think it could be pretty substantial, but regardless, I mean, to me, what DRS is just certified long-term holders. I mean, of course, nothing's for certain, but anybody that's generally going to directly register their shares believes in the company in the long term and is not planning to just turn around and sell it because simply a transfer agent isn't meant for just buying and selling. That's what a brokerage is for. Transfer agent's meant for directly registering a share in your name, or, when a company goes public, they go public through a transfer agent. Will the 10Q post up-to-date DRS numbers or 3 months old? How up-to-date is GME Stonko tracker? Oh yeah, Denzo, I think I low-key just answered that actually all throughout it. But yeah, so the new report will be, it's always like, just like the way the numbers are reported for all of November, all of December, all of January. Like that's what the quarterly numbers are for Q4. That's the same thing. All of shares directly registered in November, December, and January would be added to the previous total. In Stonko Tracker, let's see. I forget exactly how they calculate it. I think it's based off previous ones and then estimated ones going forwards. Damn. Damn, we got all the homies here. We get the stream going strong, but I really might have to end it soon, guys. I'm so fucking tired today, and I really just want to reset myself and try and get all the life shit done tonight so I can really come back strong tomorrow with like a earnings video and a couple other things. But oh, of course, that's the one that comes up on the top. Where is it? Come on, computershare.net. Let's get there. Yeah, so there's like a an algorithm generally they're calculating it on. So they're estimating about 85.9 right now. So almost 86 million. Makes sense. I mean, I guess 100 is like a huge number because the last reported number was technically 73. Um, but also 209,000 computer share accounts. That's actually really, really incredible. I know me personally, I have two different computer share accounts, so I'm sure there could be some situations like that. But generally speaking, 209,000 people that like the stock, obviously different position sizes, just remarkable. It's just simply not the norm with retail stocks. So it's just crazy, or just stocks invested in by individuals. But yeah, I want to see, is there any other numbers I should kind of go through here? If you look at marketable securities, let's look at the quarterly number for that. Where was it? Where was it? Purchases of marketable securities. Yep. So last year they didn't buy any, but they already had some. So this means they added 40 million of their cash more into marketable securities. And proceeds from maturities of marketable securities, that's, assets they bought. If they bought, like, let's say a 3-month bond from the government, then it would pay in 3 months. So this is the maturity right here. That's where it is. So they took some of that money and then some and added into more marketable securities. So they have even more marketable securities now at the end of the quarter. So that's really exciting. And they still, even take out the marketable securities, just straight cash, 1.1 billion. Because if you say cash and cash equivalents, which includes marketable securities, then you're at more like 1.4 billion, a little bit below, more like 1.3938. But if you look at just straight cash, we got 1.1 billion right there. I need to hang this balance sheet in my office. I like that, John Jar. I literally printed out all this at the office today, and then the printer was bugging. It wasn't printing. I'm like, oh, I hope this like annual report doesn't print out later, because everybody in my office knows I'm the GameStop guy. A lot of people today were like, oh wow, what's going on with GameStop? I'm like, party's just getting started. Keep an eye on it. But I was nervous that this was gonna print because I mean, I'm sure nobody really cares, but it's one of those things like I don't want someone random being like, this guy's just printing GameStop's earnings in the office. Like, what does he do? You know what I mean? Like, it creates the mentality of like he's not actually doing his work here. But no, I always do my work. I do my work, but I love reading about GameStop and stuff whenever I have a free moment at work. And I take notes like this at work sometimes when I have some free time. So just, like even on my lunch and stuff like that. Like, I come into my lunch, people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just researching something. Don't worry. What's your favorite thing about that balance sheet, bro? That's a good question. For me, I think it's the cash because, or the cash and the debt balance, because look at their long-term debt right here, and then look how much cash. And in a high interest rate environment, I just think that's incredibly important. But let me just say this: I've never lived through a high interest rate environment. These are the highest interest rates I've ever been, literally in my entire life. The only time they were like generally even around this level was when I was like super young, so I didn't even understand them. I didn't even know what was going on in 2008 until I read about it because I was only 8 years old at that time. What the heck did I know? So yeah, that's that. But understanding what I do now about interest rates and if you have debt and in a high interest rate environment, it's very tough to keep up with that unless you're growing massively. So seeing the position GameStop's in, I really feel like they can grow and build themselves up, even though the economy as a whole doesn't look so great right now, and it seems like we're kind of in a recession or just high interest rates, however you want to look at it. The company simply themselves is in good shape. They don't have to depend on anybody else. So I really just like the cash debt balance. That's my most exciting aspect personally. Do you see GME surpassing 100 plus stock price in the next 3 to 6 months, especially with the possible merger? Thank you, Tetron. Love your videos. Mid, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Honestly, potentially, but I'm really not too worried about that because I really just look at the long term and where the company's going. And there's always going to be volatility. So I wouldn't be surprised if it touches at 100 at some point, but it'll probably come crashing back down and it'll go up, down, left, right, circles, sideways. So really for me, I think it's absolutely possible just because GameStop's kind of shown me anything's possible at any moment in time and just always expect the unexpected. But at the same time, I'd rather just expect that's not going to happen and just keep focusing on the company's day to day, quarterly earnings, any news that comes out, all that good stuff. And then when the price does get there, I'm like, damn, all right, here we are. But how much cash without cash equivalents? That's a good question, Freshmaker. So from what I understand, yeah, because I realized I did say like cash equivalents. I guess technically, I don't know. Let's see what the technical difference is between cash and cash equivalents. Because from what I understand, cash and cash equivalents is anything, you can, it's literally turned into cash instantaneously. And it always, a cash equivalent would be like, I don't know, I guess let's see what the technical, I thought maybe just whether it's like cash in the bank or like cash that's about to land from somebody who makes a payment, something like that. I don't know. Let's see, are the most short-term assets are easily and ready to be converted into known amount of cash, or you include short-term investments in stock and other securities and treasury bills. Long-term investments can also be classified as cash equivalents if they're set to mature in the next 90 days. Okay, that's interesting. I thought that was still just generally anything that held its face value, whereas marketable securities, the face value could fall, because if it's a bond, then the face value could fall. But let's see, cash equivalents versus, 'cause these are the important things to look up, so I'm glad you said that. Appreciate you, Freshmaker. Also, from day one, you helped me fix the mic. I'll always remember that. Um, Cash equivalents for the company's assets and short term. Okay, so what it kind of looks like is a cash equivalent would be considered to be a 3-month bond or anything like that or less, so basically 90 days or less. And then a marketable security would be 90 days plus, so maybe a year out, 6 months out, 2-year bond, something of that nature. That's probably what's falling under here in terms of marketable securities. And then any cash equivalents that are falling in here are shorter term dated bonds. That's what it seems like. What do you think we can do to um, dis disparate or disparate? Yeah, oh, disparate. Dude, I'm getting mad tired. GME from the meme category. Honestly, Ryan's song. All you can do is just. But at the end of the day, if big money wants to force associate the names, they're going to force associate them. Like, what did you see today when GameStop was trending on Yahoo Finance? The second stock was AMC. Nobody gives a shit about AMC. Nobody was looking up AMC. There's no way that garbage was trending. There's literally no way. They put it there, and my eyes, my personal opinion, everybody out there can disagree. It's just what I think, allegedly. GameStop starts trending, you got to make AMC trend with it, right? You got to make it trend because anybody who just clicks on Yahoo Finance like this, right? Like, when you click here and then it tells you what's trending, right? The 5 hottest things. Anybody that just is about to type in their ticker, whatever they were going to look. Let's say they were going to look at Palantir, right? Because that's on the side here. They're about to type in PLTR, but before they do, what do? They click here and they look. And then they say, if they see fuck, that removed the point I was trying to make. But that's a nice chart. Damn, look at that volume real quick. I don't know if you guys caught that candlestick right there. It's so insane how much volume we had today. But see, when you type right here, if I'm a random guy out there that wants to say, what's going on with Palantir today? I would go to type in PLTR. But before I do, naturally, my eyes are going to scan these 5 tickers that are on here, right? Coin, Chewy, Dow Jones, Zura, S&P 500. Because those are the 5 trending right now according to Yahoo Finance. So I'll at least have that in my mind, and then I maybe type it in. But I'll be like, oh yeah, I saw like GME and AMC trending. And that's why in my eyes, or I would say, oh yeah, I saw like Coinbase and Chewy trending. But if you see GME and AMC right next to each other, every time you see that, you go, oh, the meme rally again, or oh, the Reddit investors. If you're uninformed about what's really going on, I feel like that's what people think. And that's the whole psyop with the force association, just the really small things like that. So anybody who's like a legit investor, or just so that less people can see the difference between GameStop and Bed Bath and GameStop and AMC, they just force associate them because if you see GME trending, AMC trending, and then BBBY trending, you think, well, oh, they're just all trending. Oh, it's just here we go again with those names, right? Oh, yeah, the meme stocks. Like, if you don't actually look at the difference, oh, I didn't realize my boy's talking right here. Just kidding, not my boy. But if you don't really like actually look at GameStop's earnings and numbers, and then look at AMC's numbers and just everything involved, if you don't actually like read the financial reports of each individual company, you won't see the difference. You'll just think, oh yeah, they're the same. And I feel like the whole psyop is if we just keep associating with them, a lot of people won't even give them the time of day. A lot of people won't even open up GameStop's investor relations because they think it's just garbage. It's I know what GameStop is. They're a dying company. Yeah, it's just like AMC. It's just like bed. Like it's a psych op, so people don't even do the due diligence. They just say, oh, well, this isn't even worth my due diligence. I might as well put my time in researching another company because it's just like these other silly companies. And I feel like that's what the psych op is. And for that reason, it's hard to break it because people in control seem to kind of want it that way, right? Or people with a lot of money and influence kind of just shift the game in that way. But hey, that's just what I think. Um, Imagine if you could hold GameStop down as long as AMC and BBY are doing bad. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy because AMC and BBY are just diluting like insane, and GameStop's simply not. And today, I think, maybe, just maybe, is really where it starts to kind of go in its own trajectory. But anybody that's been generally following it for a while now has to look at GameStop's performance versus AMC or BBY over the past several months, past year, whatever you want to, right? We can even do that real quick. Or we need them to go bankrupt. Honestly, Freshmaker, could happen. I mean, AMC's burning through cash like crazy. They're really not doing anything to turn around. They're not operating more efficiently. So they're gonna need something crazy. Damn, look at this volume. 66 million on the day. Quickly make this big screen just for the sake of this. AMC. Oh, that's a horrible idea. Let's make it red because it's going down. BBY. So yeah, look how GameStop's the blue, AMC's the red, and let's just do 1 year time. Damn, they took AMC off because it's down that much. But just look how much GameStop's held up percentage-wise in 1 year's time. Generally, I don't know why AMC went away there, but just look at that percentage-wise, 96 big, and maybe it'll have a rally again at some point. But the unfortunate truth, guys, with Bed Bath, I hate to say this, and anybody in it, I really do wish you the best of luck, but I it took me a while, and I wanted to make sure I really felt like this before I said it, but I hold both vibes from BBBY, and I think it was just a more strategic psych op, and I think there's potential. Right? It could turn around, maybe, but in a high interest rate environment, it's very difficult to turn around, and they're gonna have to do a lot of dramatic moves to really make things happen. And the only move I see in what they've been doing is just dilution, and that's just excessive. So it's just tough. But anybody on it, I do wish you the best of luck. Um, Damn, that's not what I wanted. I wanted AMC. Whatever. You guys have seen the difference between AMC and GME. I don't have to show you that again. But it's crazy, guys. I'm so burnt out. It's part of like it's excitement, it's life. It's we're here though. We're here, right? But I think I'm gonna wrap up today's stream for today. So hope everyone out there has a good night. Let me check chat one more time. Any other last points? BBY Cyclops are more advanced. A lot of GME people fell for it. Hey, Tetron, good stuff. Kingsbury, thank you for being here. Apologize, I am about to get going. Totally burnt out, dude. It's been a really fun week, an exciting week, a busy week, all of it. But yeah, and Danzo, yeah, I think you're right. And yeah, at the end of the day, everybody, I wish you the best of luck. And I don't even wish you luck. Do your research. Like, do your due diligence, do your research, and you don't have to depend on luck or anything like that. But of course, I wish everybody the best out there and hope everyone out there has a good night.